We all know about cancer and common cancers. So, endometrial cancer, skin cancer, liver cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer.
Yeah.
These five cancers, people who drink coffee have a lower cancer mortality from these. So, five cancers: cirrhosis of the liver, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's dementia, the early stage of Alzheimer's called cognitive decline,
Okay.
low risk in coffee drinkers, low risk of type 2 diabetes. Here, both decaf and regular coffee work. And if you drink 4 to 6 cups, there's a 40 to 54% reduction in developing type 2 diabetes. And if one already has type 2 diabetes and they drink 2 cups, regular or decaf, there's a 30% reduction in cardiovascular mortality.
Beyond wine, we really care about health. The health of the planet and the health of each other. That's what inspired us to start this business. Our family of team members meets every morning for a group meditation, followed by an open gratitude session. We believe a sound mind with a focus on peace is the best instrument for change. Joint meditation is the cornerstone of our company culture, and it helps us remember what's important, spreading joy and love, just like our family growers. Our family is a collection of passionate, health-conscious individuals who love to laugh and enjoy each other's company. We eat seasonally, grow our own vegetables, cook together, and share wine. Our team is incredibly dedicated to our mission. Everything from sourcing the wines to answering service questions. Your natural wines are found and sourced around the world by our wine team. They taste every one, oversee their lab testing, and choose exactly which ones go in which box. If you order, your individual box will be packed by our incredibly hardworking fulfillment team. If you have any questions, your service requests will be handled by a wonderfully loving member experience family who only have one goal in mind, your 100% happiness. This video is put together by our talented media team, filmed and edited in-house, just like the rest of our artful media. From our unique creations to our printed lifestyle piece called A Matter of Taste. We put love into everything we do, and we hope to share it with you.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. Hey, it's the top of the hour and it's time for the Ask Dr. Ernst show. Yes, it's the show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free of your health problems when you become your own doctor, when you educate yourself to that of what is being evident in the research and applying it to day-to-day life using simple at-home techniques. I promise you, you can conquer your health conditions. We're in a series on diabetes, and I'm continuing the conversation asking a really important question, and it's a question that's been asked before. I dug out this article from the Integrative Medicine Journal, 2016. Those of you on our live stream might see the topic, Is Diabetes the Epidemic Primarily Due to Toxicity? What a great question. And since it's the Ask Dr. Ernst show, why don't we dive deep into this question? Because I'm here to share with you a secret. Diabetes has less to do with your genetics, less to do with your diet, less to do with your exercise, and more to do with the effectiveness of the receptor inside the cells of your body, and can it be clean and open? What the research is showing, what the article is the diabetes epidemic because of toxins shows, is that if your insulin receptor, hey, look, if you have type 2 diabetes, you have to know about the insulin receptors. You can't just look at your sugars and say, I'm either diabetic or I'm not. We have to ask the question, is insulin, the hormone that regulates sugar as one of its jobs, working properly? And is it landing on the receptor? So guys, today's show is going to be a show where you have to hop on our live stream. Okay, if you don't know this, we take a camera in the studio and broadcast it at the same time we're on the airwaves. So if you're in the car, pull over, get into a parking lot, open up Facebook, go to YouTube, type in Ask Dr. Ernst. The stream is there. And why is it so important? I have diagrams and graphs and guides that you have to see, okay? This one is normal cellular function in regards to how insulin works. Insulin is a hormone that lands on the receptor. When the hormone lands on the receptor, a signal chemically is sent to something called the sugar channel, which sits on the cell membrane. That sugar channel opens, sugar goes into the cell, it's burned for energy. And what we see in an individual like this is they have normal insulin, they have normal blood sugars, they have normal energy, which would be a lot, and they are healthy. Now, if you're listening today and you're somebody who's been taking metformin or glucophage or Actos or Javandia or the new ones, Ozempic, or there's so many, unfortunately. I think there's over 100 something plus medications for diabetes, which shows you, number one, there's a lot of people that have it. Number two, if there was a medication that actually worked, there'd be that one. It would be the one everybody takes because it would work. So we have so many drugs because they don't always work. And what I'm going to show you today is this concept that's now starting to ruffle the feathers in medicine, in the endocrine world. It's this concept known as toxin-induced insulin resistance. If a toxin gets inside the insulin receptor, well, then the hormone insulin cannot land on the receptor, which means the sugar cell channels do not open, which means sugar starts piling up in your blood, and it means you don't get sugar into the cell, you don't produce energy, you start to see excess fat storage because sugar turns into fat. And here's what's crazy. Most type 2 diabetics have never had their insulin levels tested, and insulin is often high. Why? Because insulin will still be produced in the presence of sugar, but if the receptor is blocked by a toxin, then the insulin can't land, so insulin starts to elevate, sugars start to elevate. If you go to a physician, MD, classically trained, conventional, and they check your blood sugars, they're going to see, sugars are getting high. They'll look at something called hemoglobin A1C, which is the amount of the red blood cells hemoglobin that has sugar connected to it. And if these numbers start climbing, you get labeled as a type 2 diabetic, and you're put on a medication, and you're told change your diet and exercise. And most people that I work with that have type 2 diabetes will say, yeah, it helps, but it hasn't solved the issue. My sugars are still elevated. I'm still gaining weight. I can't lose weight. So I want to ask this question today. Is the fact that so many people have diabetes due not because of a genetic issue, not because of a toxic or a sugar issue, but because of a toxicity issue? And the answer is a resounding yes. And I'm going to show you some evidence today of this. We're going to talk about the top toxins that you've been exposed to on a daily basis that are making your sugar levels go up, no matter if you've been diagnosed or not. But if you have the diagnosis, man, this is the time. I'm going to be giving away all during my show today the Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook. We had hundreds of people get this last week. It is chock full of everything you need to know. The history of diabetes, why it's so much more than just looking at blood sugar. You have to look at insulin. You have to look at toxicities. We have examples of tests in here that you can ask your doctors to do. We can help you with them. And we even have a 3-step guide to lowering your sugars, along with some boosting nutrients that have been shown in research to be better than the medications. You can grab this free today by texting the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. Also, I'm hosting a masterclass, Diabetes Heal Thyself. It's on Saturday, September 9th, so it's a couple weekends away. This is the time to take an action and register for it, because on the live event, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to identify which cause do you have for your elevated blood sugars, what are the steps necessary to resolve that and get you out of this range of being diabetic, possibly down to pre-diabetic or gone. You're going to hear from patients who have reversed their diabetes in as little as 90 days. And guys, it's all free. So text the phrase diabetes with your name and email to 704-906-2094. I'll shoot the ebook over to you. It's electronic, so it's going to come to your email. We'll get you registered for the masterclass, and together we can solve this thing called diabetes. Okay, so is the diabetic epidemic due to toxicity? I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman. His name is Dr. Joseph Pizzorno. He's a naturopathic physician. He is the editor-in-chief of the Integrative Medicine Journal. He's the one that published the article, and I'm telling you, everything he said is what I've been saying for years, and everything that I've been saying, he's just now backing up and confirming. Take a peek, just listen. Did you know in 1960, only 1% of Americans had type 2 diabetes? 1%. Compare that to today, which is 11%. Now, that means roughly 37 million Americans are struggling with type 2 diabetes, which means either you know someone or you listening may have a blood sugar issue. According to the CDC, it's one of the most rapidly developing chronic conditions in the United States. And sadly, the graphs which show the prevalence of diabetes is just on the rise. Up and up and up and up. Okay, so we're seeing a connection between the fact that despite what we thought, okay, we used to think it was sugars, okay, we've been consuming more and more sugar, so therefore that's why the diabetes epidemic is going up. Yet, take a peek at this graph. This is a graph that shows the amount of sugar consumed in the United States as early back as the 1820s. And what's interesting is the rise in sugar did not correlate to the rise in diabetes. So as sugar consumptions went up, there wasn't an equal amount of diabetes going up. We saw in 1960 an elevation in diabetes to just 1% of the population, yet sugar had been going up for quite some time before that. So if we're going to just say it's because of the amount of sugar we eat, you can't look at the research and put one-to-one correlation to it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You can put a one-to-one correlation to the amount of toxins present in our environment and the rate of diabetes. So when you look at this graph, and again, I know I'm so sorry, guys, if you're listening on the airways, maybe I can use some verbs and words to describe this to you, but all I'm saying is the evidence is, research is out there. Sugar elevations and consumptions of sugar in the U.S. does not correlate with the elevation in diabetes. What does correlate is the amount of toxins, or what are now called persistent organic pollutants, the amount of chemicals, the amount of pesticides, the amount of residues and heavy metals and all the stuff that's in our environment today. The rise in chemical production correlates one-to-one with the rise in diabetes by incidence. So we can't just say anymore, oh, it's because you eat too much sugar. We have to say now, it's because of the amount of toxins in your body. And sadly today, not enough of us are getting tested by our traditional physicians for toxicity. Instead, they're looking at things like our numbers, blood sugars and A1C, and if we're lucky, maybe even some reactive proteins. But then we go straight onto a medication, which I'm sure you may now, listening to me for who knows how many times, years, etc., episodes, the medications we take only increase our toxicity. So it adds to the burden that we have. So what we're now finding is significant evidence, and it's a surprising correlation to the amount of the persistent organic pollutants that we have inside of our body, and it does have a risk in its ratio to diabetes. Why? Because these toxins will block the receptor and prevent insulin from landing on the receptor so sugar cannot get inside the cell. Guys, it's actually medically been termed TIIR, toxin-induced insulin resistance, where the receptor doesn't work because of a toxic burden inside of it. Now, you may be wondering, what are the things that I am being exposed to that's preventing me from having really good blood sugars, especially if you're a type 2 diabetic? Okay, number one, and by far probably the worst of them all, is the pesticide or the herbicide, the things we spray onto our foods. And it's actually the one that sadly a lot of us use at home, in our lawns, in our gardens, on our driveways to control weeds. It is this product called glyphosate or Roundup. Okay, I'm going to pull from a recent article. This was published in 2022 in the journal Antioxidants. The article is titled "The Impact of Glyphosate on the Development of Insulin Resistance." Did you notice that? The impact of glyphosate on the development of insulin resistance. Listen to what the article says. Glyphosate, a known endocrine disruptor, has an adverse impact on human health through food and also has the potential to produce reactive oxidative species. These are things that are like, oxygen, oxidative. Think of them as like irritants or pollutants or damage within the body, which can lead to metabolic disease. Glyphosate consumption from food has been shown to have a substantial part in insulin resistance, making it a severe concern with people with type 2 diabetes. Guys, I'm reading direct. I'm not making this up. Directly from the article. Now watch, okay? It says that glyphosate exposure creates this inside people, a reduction in antioxidants. So the chemical itself increases your oxidation, and it also gets rid of your antioxidants, which we need to remove the oxidation. It increases the level of inflammatory chemicals, and they've got a list for you. One of the biggest ones being nuclear factor kappa beta. It's an inflammatory cascading pathway. It increases the production of these pro-inflammatory factors. It produces cirrhosis within the liver, which will result in the development of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Again, reading directly from the article, and here's where it gets crazy. Glyphosate reduces the level of mRNA and protein expression of the insulin receptor. Okay, look, I might have to translate this for you. Here's the article. You can see it. It's titled, again, The Impact of Glyphosate on the Development of Insulin Resistance. And here's the kicker, guys. They're saying that this chemical will get inside your body and stop you from producing the receptor itself. So if your cells don't have as many insulin receptors on the outside, insulin cannot land on the receptor, sugar doesn't go in, and it's coming from this thing that we spray on all of our grains. Now watch this. This is a graph that shows the correlation between the amount of diabetes, yellow bars, the amount of genetically modified corn, which is the red graph, and the amount of glyphosate sprayed onto the food products in the United States. As the corn production increases with genetic modification, and as the glyphosate levels go up, diabetes started following in suit. And it's simply, again, because what glyphosate does is it damages the production of your insulin receptor, which makes you resistant to your insulin. Now, where does this glyphosate hide? All right, I hate to tell you this, because corn in the United States is some of the most highly genetically modified and sprayed foods. We find it in anything that has fructose corn syrup, anything that has been fed corn, so even like meats. So like, your roast beef sandwich could be loaded with glyphosate. We find it in wheat that's been desiccated or dried with Roundup. So the bread products, it can be in dairy because of contamination, and the cows themselves consuming the corn feed that's full of glyphosate. It can be found in even things like potatoes and other root tubers that are dried with it. So I hate to say it, but like our classic fast food meal, the bun on the hamburger, the tomato that's sprayed, the cheese from the dairy cows that are eating the grains, the meat itself, again, the potatoes that are fried, the drink that has high fructose corn syrup in it, guys. The lurking evidence shows your classic on-the-go meal, hamburger, French fries, and a Diet Coke or a carbonated beverage, high in Roundup. Now, I don't want you to just listen to me and think this is the case. There was an immense study done, and they found that there are residue levels of glyphosate in common foods. I'm holding up a graph. I'm going to read it to you for our radio listeners. Cheerios, by far the highest food loaded with glyphosate. Wheaties, Trix, cornflakes, Raisin Bran, Kashi, Special K, lots of cereals, guys. Cheez-Its, Kashi bars, Ritz crackers, Triscuits, Oreos. It goes even further, right? Things like the pita chips and Lay's chips, Doritos chips, Goldfish. I mean, take a peek at this. Like, these are common foods that a lot of us eat as snacks, and sadly, we give them to our children thinking nothing of it, right? I mean, there's so many kids today that are snacking on Goldfish with their food at lunch. They're having their Oreos as a dessert, or they're eating Cheerios or Wheaties or cornflakes or Raisin Bran or Special K for breakfast. Look, I'm going to post a lot of these on our website for you guys to be able to see them, because the research is evident. The amount of our exposure to this sort of dangerous chemical, glyphosate, which is sprayed onto a lot of our foods today, is a correlation cause to type 2 diabetes. So if you're a type 2 diabetic and you've never been checked to see, do you have high levels of glyphosate in your body causing the insulin resistance, you need to wake up to what the CDC says. Listen to this. 81% of Americans have glyphosate inside of their body. 81%. We're seeing a massive elevation in issues with blood sugar. And here's the problem. As insulin goes up, it doesn't just affect your sugars, it affects your entire body. Your inflammation goes up. Your testosterone goes down, men, and your estrogen goes up. Ladies, your estrogen goes down and your testosterone goes up. Neurotransmitters go out of whack. We start to get anxious and fatigued. Our cholesterol levels go up. Our blood pressure goes up. Our detox pathways are blunted. And all of this comes from the fact that we have this chemical toxin that we're chronically exposed to in our body. And I hate to say it, but unless you've worked with us directly, most people are not addressing the amount of Roundup in their body. Hey, Dr. Ernst, is there a test that can be done to see if you have Roundup inside of your body? Absolutely. It's a urine panel. It'll show us the amount of toxicity stress to your liver. It'll show us if you have a gut leak. It shows us the amount of inflammation. It tells us if your mitochondria are damaged. And those systems right there, if interfered with, will indicate with a biomarker on the test the amount of glyphosate in your body. So look, if you've been paying attention, we are discussing the fact that diabetes, even type 2, most specifically, the most common, is not necessarily because of sugar consumption or your lack of exercise or your genetics. According to some recent research, is it due to the possibility of toxic exposure? The answer is yes. It's now being termed toxin-induced insulin resistance. So if you want to break free from your diabetes, why don't you download our free ebook, Diabetes Heal Thyself, where we go in depth into this, what I'm talking about today, and techniques and steps for you to reverse the inflammation, the toxicity, get your blood sugars down. This book is free for you. It's an electronic book. Text the phrase diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. I'm also hosting a masterclass on Saturday, September 9th. It's at 10 a.m. in the morning. You get free access to the masterclass. We're going to show you how you can get reduced cost tests. We're going to walk you through single steps, simple at home, that you can implement now to start lowering your blood sugars and actually, watch this, helping your energy, helping you to lose weight, because a lot of type 2 diabetics struggle with weight loss. They struggle with energy because, again, if your insulin receptor is blocked, you cannot produce energy. If you have a toxin sitting inside the receptor, insulin won't land, sugars pile up. This will be labeled diabetes, but technically it's a toxicity issue. So again, text the phrase diabetes with your name and email to 704-906-2094. You get the ebook for free. You get the masterclass for free. You can start right now lowering your sugars, and by the time the event takes place, you can be the next greatest testimonial. 704-906-2094. Text the phrase diabetes plus your name and email, and we'll send everything over to you. Hey, so we know that glyphosate is a big one. Now, how about this? All of those nasty chemicals that hang around in our environment, like heavy metals, like bisphenol A, dioxins, phthalates, polyaromatic hydrocarbons. These are chemicals that you guys are going to find are in everyday products like your lotions and your shampoos and your beauty products, even the food containers you use. And I'm going to point to you something fun when we come back. How do you get these things out of your body quickly? What are the known research products that remove toxins from you so you can see your sugars go down fast? You can see your energy come back. And if you're a type 2 diabetic, watch this. Your levels start to drop, your A1C drops, and if you do it properly with guidance, you can become free from this condition. Hey, text the phrase diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. Grab your free copy of the Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook. Join me for the masterclass on September 9th. Don't go away. We have a commercial break, but the best is yet to come.
What if we told you coffee was good for you?
Coffee is the single highest source of antioxidants in the Western diet. More antioxidants than kale, more antioxidants than 70% dark chocolate, and more antioxidants than blueberries.
In fact, what if we told you that coffee is really good for you?
Research shows that 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day dramatically enhances performance in high-intensity exercise, improves memory, reaction times, and overall cognitive function, decreases risk of depression, promotes weight loss by boosting metabolic rates, reduces risk of type 2 diabetes up to 40%, decreases risk of liver cancer up to 71%, reduces risk of Parkinson's up to 30%, and decreases risk of Alzheimer's up to 65%. Overall, coffee drinkers live longer. People who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day have about a 15% lower risk of premature mortality compared to people who don't drink coffee.
And what if we told you that the health benefits of coffee could actually be increased through conscious roasting, sourcing, and processing? Introducing Purity, a health-conscious coffee company. At Purity, we've brought together a world-class team to analyze every step in the production chain from cherry to cup. We make decisions with only one thing in mind. How can we make the healthiest coffee in the world? Here's our 3-step process. Step 1, we search the world for the highest quality organic green beans that meet our exacting standards. Way less than 1% of coffee worldwide fit our sourcing criteria. Step 2, we test, and test again to create a specific roasting protocol for each harvest that maximizes healthy compounds and minimizes toxins. Step 3, we nitrogen pack our coffee within 48 hours of roasting and deliver to your door every 2 weeks to ensure maximum freshness. The result is the ultimate coffee drinking experience. You'll not only taste the difference in our clean, healthy coffee, with Purity, you'll feel the difference.
Our coffee club members report a bright, alert lift with less jitters than regular coffee and much more gentle on the stomach.
Sign up for Purity today, and you'll never have to worry about your source for healthy coffee again.
Hi, my name is Gary Greenfield with Greenfield Water Solutions, and I want to introduce you to our newest product, the MR500. It's a whole house structured water filter system. It's set up in an all stainless steel multi-round filter housing. It features inlet and outlet for the water, a bleeder valve for when you're changing out the filters to reduce pressure, and to remove the top for access to the filters, we simply open up the clamp, remove the top, and this plate here holds all the filters in place. Simple to remove. It comes out, and you can see what we have on the inside here. It's 5 Aquamedics filters, and a vortexing tube and a harmonizer. That's the whole system. This is designed to filter 5 gallons per minute, and all of the contaminants that it does remove are listed on the website, which is a very broad array of contaminants. These are the highest rated filters that I know of on the market that are filter cartridges. They can be changed out yearly, and of course the process is very simple. You won't have to hire a plumber to do a change out, and the filters are available from Greenfield Water Solutions. And if you want to know more about this, you can read about it on the product page or give us a call. Thanks for watching. That's it for now from Greenfield Water Solutions.
To bring you the best natural wine the world has to offer, we've designed a fully curated membership program. Every selection you receive is different and unique. Every wine is picked by our wine team, lab tested for purity, and curated into a special box for your enjoyment. So how does the membership work? We offer 2 main options, a half case of 6 bottles or a full case of 12. You can request all reds, all whites, or a perfect split of both. Then, you can set the frequency, monthly or every other month. We offer a similar simple membership for rosé and sparkling wines. After you choose these basic options, we'll do the rest. With every box we send you, we aim to present the greatest diversity of flavors, textures, and profiles. There is a healthy mix of the classics, but also rare varietals. We do this because natural wines taste different from their commercial counterparts. We want to share the best possible experience with you, so you can discover new wines you love. And you can always reorder a wine that took your heart, or ask us to avoid certain profiles. The best part is, you don't need any wine knowledge to fully enjoy these boxes. We curate our selections to be enjoyed without worry. Ultimately, this is Dry Farm Wines. We are so grateful to be able to share the power of natural wines with you.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celient Sleep Recovery. Our Celient Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celient technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celient infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celient. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celient has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celient Sleep Recovery products today. Celient. Recycle your body's energy.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, thanks for returning if you've been listening since the top of the hour. My name is Dr. Ernst. This is the Ask Dr. Ernst show, the show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free of your health problems when you become your own doctor. Our topic of the day is type 2 diabetes and how it's actually because of a toxicity, an induction because of having too many toxins and or chemicals in your body. There was an article published several years ago asking the question, is the diabetic epidemic due to toxicity? This is Dr. Joseph Pizzorno, and in the journal Integrative Medicine, he highlights a specific list of what are called diabetogens, meaning these are chemicals that induce diabetes. We talked at the top of the hour how one of the number one most toxic chemicals that you can be exposed to is glyphosate. We tend to find it in all kinds of foods. Right now, there's a study that was published in 2022, so just last year, impact of glyphosate on the development of insulin resistance. So is diabetes being produced by this organic toxin? And the answer is yes. Persistent findings for the first time ever provide evidence that the exposure of glyphosate develops insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes by aggravating an inflammatory pathway in the liver. Guys, I'm reading word for word, the blue highlighted section, word for word from what the research is saying. Now, here's where this gets scary. Glyphosate is found in a lot of food products, mostly in things that contain grains like wheat and rice and corn. So we have Cheerios on the top of the list. Listen to this. By definition, the amount of glyphosate found in Cheerios was 1,125 parts per billion. That's an excessive amount. Honey Nut Cheerios, Wheaties, Trix, Corn Flakes, Raisin Bran, Kashi, Special K, Frosted Flakes. Do you notice it's almost all of our breakfast food products if you eat cereals for breakfast? How about snacks? Cheez-Its, Ritz crackers, Triscuits, Oreos, Lay's potato chips, Doritos, Fritos, Goldfish. Ugh! Right? So like there's studies showing evidence and they've tested the amounts of glyphosate. So if you're alive today and you're living in this great nation where we still use it, because in other countries it's been banned and you can't, you have to just ask the question, do you have glyphosate in your body? And is it impacting your ability to have healthy blood sugars? The answer is yes. According to the CDC, 81% of Americans when tested will come back positive with glyphosate levels in their body. And the challenge becomes there's no medication, there's no medical approach to get rid of it, but you can pull it out of your body. Number one, what do? Well, we have to stop exposing ourselves to it. This is where the need of the knowledge must become greater. You've got to download this list and stop eating these food products. It's available on our website and also in the comments below. So number one, cut it out. Okay. Number two, we have to ask the question, what does this do to our body? Well, the research shows it stops you from producing the insulin receptor. It elevates your inflammatory pathways, and it can cause congestion within the liver. So are there tests you could ask your physician or your holistic doctor to run and find out if you have glyphosate-induced toxicity? Yes. Okay, listen to this. There is an enzyme called gamma-glutamyl transferase, which is an enzyme that helps us to determine, are you recycling glutathione properly? Glutathione is your master antioxidant. The research shows that what glyphosate does is it reduces your antioxidants. So if this blood test is done and your GGT, gamma-glutamyl transferase, is elevated, there's a direct correlation between that elevation and type 2 diabetes. By the way, just to show you, in case you guys are like, show me the science. Okay, here's the graph correlating the amount of diabetes going that way, and the amount of GGT in your body. So as GGT goes up, the incidences of type 2 diabetes goes up. So it shows, again, elevations in the enzyme are specific for the amount of this organic pollutant within your body. Okay, you can also look at high sensitivity C-reactive protein, known as HSCRP. It's an inflammatory marker. So the more inflamed you are, the more your levels go up. Hey, look, if you want the entire list and everything guided in how you can solve this, I'm giving away a free ebook called Diabetes Heal Thyself. The techniques and the steps and the detoxifiers and all the stuff you need to start lowering your blood sugars is in this ebook for free. Text the phrase diabetes with your name and email to 704-906-2094. You'll get the ebook sent to you for free. You'll get access to a masterclass that I'm hosting on Saturday, September 9th, where I'm going to teach you how do you identify these toxins? How do you get rid of them from your body? And how do you watch as a side effect your blood sugars going down, your A1C going down? You can shock your doctor into them going, your numbers look so great, we're going to have to reduce your medications because your numbers are getting too low. That's the point again, remember? Become educated, become knowledgeable, impart what you've learned, heal your body, and let it change to where your doctor says you've been released and you no longer need this medication. I've seen it happen over and over again. Type 2 diabetes, raging A1Cs, down to pre-diabetic 90 days, down to normal 6 months. It is possible when you do it the right way. You can also look at things like your homocysteine levels, which again is an inflammatory marker. So if you're taking notes and you go, I want my doctor to find out if I'm toxic, okay? Ask them to run blood GGT, gamma glutamyl transferase. Ask them to look for your high sensitivity C-reactive protein, or CRP. Ask them to look for your homocysteine or your alanine transferase. These are enzymes that tell us the health of your liver. If your doctor is going, what? Then reach out with us and we can help you. Okay, so how do we get this stuff out? All right, well, number one, we have to recognize that if it's reducing our antioxidants, the best thing we can do is to increase our antioxidants. And glutathione is one of the greatest antioxidants that you can elevate. It can be taken as a supplement. It needs to be in its liposomal form, which is often a liquid that you squirt into your mouth, so it can be absorbed sublingually and get straight into your bloodstream. The challenge with taking glutathione directly is it'll be broken down in your stomach, digested, and it'll become ineffective. So we need to get it into you sublingually. We use a liposomal glutathione. It's a great product. It helps to boost your glutathione levels. Another supplement that's been shown to effectively help you to detox is N-acetylcysteine. It's actually a precursor for glutathione. So if you increase the precursor amounts by taking it as a capsule, your body can actually make more glutathione, which can help you to increase your glutathione levels. Now, in addition to glyphosate, there are other known toxins that are known as diabetogens, meaning if you have high levels of this, you're more likely to have type 2 diabetes, one of which is arsenic. Now, here's the challenge with arsenic, guys. A lot of us would say, oh, well, how on earth would I ever get exposed to arsenic? Well, unfortunately, and I might ruffle some feathers, it's been found to be in drinking water. And several years ago, there was a known arsenic boost, I guess you could call it, high elevated levels of arsenic in the local water supply here in the greater Charlotte area. Both Lake Norman and Mountain Island Lake were tested, and they had extremely high levels of arsenic. Why is this important? Well, if we pull water from these basins to be fed to us through our city water system, there's a high likelihood that we're not removing those components, because classic water filtration in a city system doesn't remove heavy metals. They're removing wastes and making sure there's no bacteria. They're chlorinating it. They're adding sometimes minerals. But when it comes to heavy metals, there's not a removal for that. So you have to take it upon yourself to remove toxic heavy metals. One thing you should do if you were having type 2 diabetes is get tested to see if you do have heavy metals in your body. I'm holding up a hair test that we use. It's through a lab called Doctor's Data. It can show us, do you have higher than normal levels of certain metals? This is a sample. You can see the arsenic levels are high. So if we find a correlation between elevated diabetogens, toxins that are known in research to cause diabetes, and you have type 2 diabetes, I hope you can see what our approach would be. Rather than medicating, which is what an MD would do, rather than, saying go cut your sugars down, which is what a dietitian would do, rather than saying become a vegan, again, dietitian, we'd say, wait, why don't we get the metals out? Let's remove them. You can chelate them. You can pull the metals from your body. Why don't we get rid of the potential for the glyphosate? We test you for it, see if you have it, and remove it. And the benefit here is when the toxins come out of the cell receptor, that receptor becomes more open and free, and then insulin can do its job. And when insulin is working, it simply pushes sugar into the cell, and we make energy. So I hope you can see this, right? If you've got a toxin blunting the receptor, that could be the cause of the elevation in your blood sugars. If you want some more information, if you're just tuning in, we're giving away the Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook, a complete guide to reversing. Like, you can do this. You can actually get your sugar levels back to normal diabetes. Okay, inside here, everything I'm talking about today. Inside here, the nutrients that boost your detox process. Inside here, the tests and how you can get access to them so you can find out, am I toxic and is that why I have type 2 diabetes? Text the phrase diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. Again, you'll also get access to a masterclass, an online live event where I will take you through step by step how to identify your root cause, how to find out if the toxins are present, what to do to get rid of them, and you can start generally immediately with a plan that will help you to lower your blood sugars and do it the right way. Is avoidance the best? Yes. We have to avoid exposure. Someone's texting over saying, what's the phone number? So you're texting asking for the phone number. That's interesting. 704-906-2094. The same number you just texted. Send us your name and your email, and we'll get you the ebook and we'll get you connected. Don't forget, name and email with the phrase diabetes, and the book is yours. Okay, so steps to reverse this toxic load. Number one, you have to reduce your exposure. Guys, you've got to start learning the foods that are high in glyphosate. Okay, download the lists, go to our website, grab the information. We have the cereals, the snacks, and things that have been tested, but I'm here to tell you, if it has a conventionally grown product like meats, chicken, fish, turkey, eggs, if it's wheat or a grain, if it's a carbonated beverage that has fructose corn syrup in it, if it's a potato that's fried in oils, if it's ketchup again with fructose corn syrup, the top hidden sources of glyphosate, high fructose, genetically modified corn syrup, potatoes that are desiccated with the herbicides, the genetically modified canola oils that are unfortunately in everything, the high fructose corn syrups found in beverages, the cows, the pigs, the chicken, the fish that are eating corn and sometimes soy, the wheat products that we dry with this Roundup products, and of course, unfortunately, grains themselves, corn and soy and wheat, which is in almost all main food products. So are we today exposed to a chemical toxin that is known to create insulin resistance? Yes. Can you get it out of your body? Yes. We talked about boosting your glutathione levels, taking liposomal glutathione directly, taking N-acetylcysteine, a precursor for glutathione, as a supplement. Now watch this. Methylation is known as an enzymatic process that removes toxins from your body. There are methylation supports. You can get methyl donors. You can take products that enhance your methylation. We have them in our clinic. B vitamins have been shown to help you increase the excretions of arsenic and heavy metals and even glyphosate from your body. Curcumin, an antioxidant and a naturally occurring sort of spice, increases the ability for detoxification to take place and also helps to reduce oxidation. It's an anti-inflammatory. Now listen to this. Certain probiotics, bifidobacterium and lactobacillus, can actually bind to organic toxins in the intestines and get them out. This is why so many people say, well, as soon as I started taking a probiotic, I just feel better. Probiotics can reduce the absorption of toxins in your intestines and help them to get into your stools so they go into the waste, not into your body. Quercetin is another extremely high antioxidant that's been shown to pull things like dioxins and phthalates and other chemicals from your body. So we have glutathione, liposomal, NAC as a supplement, quercetin as a supplement, resveratrol as a supplement. You can even take methylation supports to enhance your detoxification. Green tea, or EGCG, has been shown to also help you increase your detoxification process. But by far, one of the easiest is to simply let your body do it by itself. Okay, when you fast, you increase your detoxification pathways. You open up excretory methods within your liver and within your intestines and within your bowels. Fasting's been shown by far to be one of the greatest ways to increase your body's natural ability to detox. And if we add those products that I talked to you about, glutathione, N-acetylcysteine, methylation supports, quercetin, etc., you're now engaging your body. You're helping it to excrete these toxins. And often what we see is when you fast and you use these detoxificants, your blood sugars start to normalize and go down. If you're someone who's type 2 diabetic, you might see for the first time ever reductions that are greater than what your medications have been doing because you're letting your body do it by itself. So what do we have here? We have a known connection between toxins and diabetes. We have this concept that it's not so much the sugars that we eat, but it's actually the amount of chemicals and toxins that are found in our environment. I showed this at the top of the hour. The rise in sugar consumption in the United States predated the massive diabetic epidemic we have today. We started increasing sugar consumption as far back as the 1820s. Yet in the 1960s, diabetes was only at 1% of the total population. So the rise in sugar did not correlate to the rise in diabetes. Yet on the other hand, the rise in the amount of chemical toxins in our body and in the environment correlated much closer to a one-to-one connection. And when we connect the dots of what is the most toxic chemical in our systems today, glyphosate, which is sprayed onto corn and soy and wheat, the usage of this, blue line, correlated to the genetic modifies of grains, red line, and the incidences of diabetes almost goes as a one-to-one connection. So we see an elevation in diabetes in the population because of the amount of glyphosate in our body. We see it because of the amount of heavy metals and dioxins and phthalates. These are all chemicals that are found in, your cleaning products and your beauty products. Unfortunately, today we are toxic. We know this for a fact. So you have to wake up and realize it's not what you're eating necessarily, the sugars. It's not your genetics. You weren't predestined to have type 2 diabetes. Many people don't have it until they are later in life, 35, 45, 55. If it was a genetic issue, you would have had it from birth. Your genes don't change throughout your lifetime. The expression of them is what changes. And if we activate our diabetic genes because of toxins, then we start to get the condition, and yet we start to take medications, which only increases our toxicity. Are there things you can do to decrease your exposures? Yes. You need to get tested. We have to find out, do you have toxic heavy metals in your body? It's a very simple hair test, guys. I'm going to reveal how you can get this for nearly cost on the event that I'm hosting on Saturday, September 9th. It's the Diabetes Heal Thyself Masterclass. It's free for you to attend. So if you are itching to get your sugars down, text the phrase diabetes with your name and email to 704-906-2094. Again, 704-906-2094. You'll get access to the masterclass. You'll get our free Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook. It has the natural detoxifiers in it. It has explanations of where diabetes comes from in it. It has tips and techniques you can implement now in it, and it's free. Again, text the phrase diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. Okay, in summary, is type 2 diabetes because of a toxicity within the United States and within your body? Yes, that's one of many causes. We talked last week about how it can also be leaky gut. We're going to talk next week about how there's a connection between leaky gut and your nervous system, and how if you're toxic with a leaky gut and you have nerve interference, that's the trifecta for having type 2 diabetes. So how do we help people reverse it? We clean out their toxins, we clean out their gut, we remove neurological interference, and the body has the capacity to regenerate. I mean, think about it. Glyphosate's been shown to shut down the production of your insulin receptor in the first place. If you remove the toxins, insulin receptors start growing. Arsenic, heavy metals, lead, cadmium, mercury, they get inside the receptor and they blunt it. If you remove the metals, the receptors open up. When we look at things like your nervous system, it regulates the organic function. There can be nerve interference that's decreasing insulin productivity or decreasing liver, functionality, or slowing down your healing systems. When you remove the interference and you allow your body to heal by itself, that's called functional medicine. That's called self-healing. That's called doctoring yourself, and you have the power within you. Hey, as we're closing out our show today, this is your last chance this week to grab our free Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook. Again, text the phrase diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll send it to you through email and through text. You'll get access to it. And in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, we have the Diabetes Heal Thyself Masterclass, Saturday, September 9th. It's right around the corner. And I'd love to have you on the event so I can show you how you can conquer this condition once and for all. You can be the greatest testimonial that your medical doctor has ever heard. They don't usually have people reverse their conditions, yet you have the power inside of you to do that. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Next week, we're going to be breaking down again the neurological connection and a leaky gut connection to type 2 diabetes. If you have those and you remove them, your body can conquer this condition. Again, thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you guys each and every week with the Ask Dr. Ernst show right here on News Talk 1110 WBT. Have a blessed weekend. Until next week.